The Kraken are down to their final week of the regular season, and there has been no quit in this team. That's something head coach Lane Lambert has instilled in his players all season long, and they have definitely embraced it. Welcome to kraken-home-ice. In this week's episode, we're talking to head coach Lane Lambert about avoiding distractions from outside noise and keeping a playoff mindset. The culinary experience at Climate Pledge Arena takes center stage, where Chef Molly Demers pulls inspiration for her menus. And the voice of the Kraken, John Forsland, explains the origins of some of his most iconic calls, plus how he ended up in the broadcast booth. The Ron Francis era with the Kraken is over. Francis is stepping down at the end of the season as the team's president of hockey operations. He was the first general manager in franchise history. Then Ron was elevated to president after last season, when Jason Botterill was named GM. Following the announcement, Francis said, "It has been an honor to help launch and lead the Seattle Kraken over the past 7 years. I am proud of the culture we built, the people we brought together, and the milestones we achieved, including our historic first playoff run. I want to thank our entire ownership group, everyone throughout the organization, and our incredible fans for their unwavering support. This organization has a bright future, and I'm grateful to have been part of its beginning."
I worked and had the pleasure of working with a great man there. He took this on, and his fingerprints will forever be on this organization. He helped build our brand, and he will always be held in the highest esteem.
The Kraken in Winnipeg kick off the week. Watch Jordan Eberle. He gets his own rebound, stays with it, and buries the backhander to get Seattle on the board. The Jets counter with 3 straight goals. Keep an eye on Ryan Lindgren. The puck goes off his stick, changes direction, and beats Philip Grubauer. Tough break. The German gentleman suffers an injury on the play and has to leave the game. Joey Decord comes in as the Kraken try to rally. Third period, Jared McCann gets the puck in his own blue line. Watch him use the defender to screen the goalie. McCann fires it past Connor Hellebuck to cut the lead to 3-2. But that's as close as it gets. The Jets score the next 3 goals to put it away. The Kraken lose 6-2. From Winnipeg to Minnesota, the Kraken get off to a good start against the Wild. Brandon Montour gets the puck up top and hammers it home for a 1-0 lead. The Wild tie it up, but the Kraken regain the lead. Nice pass from Chandler Stevenson to Adam Larson. He snaps it home for a 2-1 lead. Keep an eye on goalie Joey Decord. He thinks he caught the puck and freezes, but the puck is behind him as Vladimir Tarasenko tucks it in. Kraken down 3-2 in the third. Keep an eye on the far post. That's Marcus Johansson parked over there. The puck comes his way and he bangs it past Decord. The Wild add an empty netter and beat the Kraken 5-2. A hard-fought battle on Thursday against the Golden Knights. Kraken down 3-1 in the third, and they get a gift on this one. The puck takes a weird bounce off the boards, and Berkeley Catton is right there to knock it into an empty goal. Minutes later, Bobby McMahon ties it up, comes in at a tough angle, and stuffs it home to lock it up at 3-3. They go to overtime and a shootout. Goals by Matty Beniers and this man, Berkeley Catton, helped the Kraken go up 2-1. Joey Decord can end it with a stop here, and he comes up clutch. The Kraken snap their 6-game losing streak, winning 4-3 in a shootout.
Great win, fellas. Like, you gutted it out, you battled. That's a heavy team over there. We battled, and it's a great comeback. Great comeback by you guys. Joey, some great saves. Way to gut it out. Cats with a little fortuitous bounce, and then shootout winner. There you go.
You know, we're sticking together, Joe, Drew. You know, you guys can get this every night, but you know, there's more to this game than, you know, just us in this group. You know, I've been dealing with it all year. Mincy's been dealing with it as well. Here to let.
Thank you, fellas. Like Monty said, been a tough month, but thank you guys for everything, and you know, it's good to be back, so let's keep going.
What a way to snap a losing streak. We talked to head coach Lane Lambert about his approach to coaching during a streak like that, and he admits to some self-scouting.
I think you're always, quote unquote, self-scouting, self-evaluating, self-analyzing, you know, and at the end of the day, coaching is about finding solutions and not having an ego that's big enough to not make changes if you don't think what you're doing is correct, but at the same time, you have to have courage in what your message is, and believe in your message. And I believe in that message, and so you can't waver with it. You certainly have to be human, but throughout this stretch, throughout other stretches that we've had, we've kept the message the same, and we've had some success. This stretch that we've been on hasn't been good.
There's been some changes this week in the front office. CEO Todd Lewicki comes out, gives you a huge vote of confidence, says you coached your butt off. I guess you take that almost with a grain of salt. You're like, okay, there's people that think I did a good job, and probably people think I could do a lot better job.
Yeah.
When you hear stuff like that, do you just kind of park it and say, it's nice that they have my back? 'Cause I know you have tremendous respect for the ownership.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed for ownership. I'm disappointed for the fans, at the stretch that we've had here since the break. And certainly, I think everyone in the organization here has done and is doing the best they can. Certain, the results haven't been there, but when something like that is said, you just have to park it, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, the focus is on the players and doing right by the players and doing right by our coaching staff. And certainly it's nice to have, a vote of confidence, so to speak. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, it's about getting ready for the next game.
Let's talk about some of your comments throughout the week. Kept reminding the media and anybody else who will listen that you haven't been eliminated, and that kind of mindset probably goes a long way with your players when they hear the coach out there saying, "Hey, still in this thing." How important is it to make sure that's the right mindset for your entire coaches, players, and organization?
It's just my way. It's the way I've always been, and and until you're out of it, you're not out of it. No matter what the circumstances are, no matter how grim it might look, you got to focus in and get ready for the next day. We've given up, I think, 22 empty net goals this year. I pulled the goalie sometimes when we're down 2 or 3 goals, probably having no business to do that. But the message is it's never over till it's over.
All right, I'm not going to ask you about every player, but having watched Burke Catton all season, I see the rookie has kind of just progressed nicely throughout this season. Was there a point where you saw him as not a rookie anymore and maybe kind of, oh man, this kid seems to have arrived?
With Berkeley, first of all, I think the decision was made to keep him here and not send him back to junior. That was the only other option for him. I think he's going to be so much farther ahead in September based on that decision. And it hasn't come without growing pains for him as well. It's a Mavs league. NHL's the best league in the world, and it's been a grind for him at times, but certainly there's been progression for him all the way along. I think as a rookie, and in your rookie season, you're always viewed as a rookie, and you're always continuing to learn and grow. And for him, he continues to do that every day. He'll continue to do good things. He'll continue to make mistakes, which he's learning from. That's all part of being a rookie and having a rookie season in the National Hockey League. And but the best thing about it is that when he comes to training camp next September, he's going to be that much further ahead of the game than he would be if he was in junior this year.
Look out! It's a gift! Berkeley Catton!
Lastly, I know how much you like to play golf, but how much do you enjoy watching it with the Masters this weekend, first major? Like, do you enjoy a chance to sit down and watch it?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, no, it's the best weekend of the year in terms of golf, really. And it always comes at this time of the year where playoffs are coming, regular seasons ending, kind of thing, and so it's just kind of a special time of the year all the way around. And sure would love to get a chance to go play that golf course one day, or even go to the tournament. So one day, hopefully I will.
John Porsley was born to be a broadcaster. Next, how his parents helped get him to where he is today.
I always had an idea in the back of my mind that maybe I could call a hockey game someday.
And we're taking a deep sea dive into the sea monsters of the Salish Sea with help from one of the protectors of the deep.
I study animals, and part of my job is saving them. And so, what we were thinking is we save animals. Who saves goals for the Kraken? Let's get Joey DeCour out there.
Pavel Dorofeev. The game's
John Forsland's iconic calls have become synonymous with Kraken hockey. It's clear calling games was exactly what the veteran broadcaster was destined to do. Kelly Hansen talked to Forsland about his journey to the booth.
Rope hits, traded goals in period one. Right up the gut, done with a shot. He scores! How do you like that? Vince Dunn.
To me, it's the best spectator sport there is. You know, in the arena, there's nothing like seeing a hockey game live. Our fans kind of lift the team, you know, and as we move forward with this franchise, they will do that, and they become part of it, as they are for the Seahawks, the Mariners, and every team here in Seattle.
What is it like to do this job and make those iconic calls game after game?
Here comes Mahura. He's in. He scores! Hey, hey! What do you say? Josh Mahura.
The calls are organic. They come from the heart, and they just happen like the game does. But most importantly, our job is to navigate the fans through a training camp at the very end of the season, which we hope someday ends with the Stanley Cup.
Please.
Sometimes, you know, it doesn't, and there are reasons for it, and our mission is to tell those stories of why, but also build our players up in an area where the fans can relate to them.
The rebound in front, blocked, it goes high. That's all. That's Kraken hockey, baby. What a win tonight in Las Vegas.
That's Kraken hockey, baby, has become a fan favorite. What is it like seeing fans use this term now?
Well, it's funny where that originated, right? So that's hockey, baby, I've always had, right? So I've used that, most importantly, on a play that delights me.
Back for Marchman in tight, across the goal, they score! That's hockey, baby! It's Yanni Newman!
But when I took the job, I started using the hashtag, that's Kraken hockey, baby, on all my posts on social media. And then once we launched and we had a game, I said, you know what, I'm gonna tag a win with that. And I did, and it kind of took off, and I think people enjoy it. I'm glad they do.
Laniers, with a game on his stick, walks in. He scores! That's Kraken hockey, baby!
It stands for, yes, the 2 points on a given night and hopefully a championship, but it also stands for what the Kraken believe in within the community. That's also Kraken hockey. The hey, hey, what do you say, which I put on a goal that, to me, puts the game away, is for my dad.
They score! Hey, hey! What do you say? Jordan Eberle!
My dad used to say that, and I've told this story before, but my dad passed away when I was 22, when I got my first paycheck in the minor leagues. He used to say that all the time when he would meet people, and it's a tribute to him. So that's the only one that I thought about ahead of time. The rest of them I use, some I've never used again. The ones I like, I keep, and the fans, I hope the fans enjoy it.
Schwartz is away with a yawning cage. Bullseye!
And we try to make it fun. We try to entertain. You know, we can't get bogged down by something we can't control. We can control the telecast and where it goes and how we behave, and sometimes we behave like little children, which is okay.
Some of your best stuff is when you don't know what you're going to say, so let's go. Wait, does that make sense?
I think so, yeah.
That might be the funniest thing you've ever said to me.
Are you done?
It's a game that can change on a dime. It's a game that one player can completely control the goaltender. If the goalie is exceptionally on his game or her game, then the game's over. You know, no matter how well the other team plays. You can't say that for every sport. And these are very special athletes because, again, they have a lot of the same skills and athleticism that you see attached to other players in other sports, but they're doing it on tiny blades of steel.
What is your favorite part of your job?
Everything about it, and which includes preparing to do the games. So I spend a lot of hours getting ready to do the game. There's 40 players in the game, and each one has a story. It's an overload of information, but I'm kind of very constructed with how I do it and what my game day routine is. And then the game starts, and the game is the easy part. The game really is. Once the puck goes down, it just happens. It's something I did as a little boy and dreamed of doing, and I just do the same thing now. So I was, 8 years old when I decided that maybe I'd like to pursue something like this. I played a lot of sports. I wasn't exposed to hockey. My family didn't really have the means for me to play the game. But I always had an idea in the back of my mind that maybe I could call a hockey game someday. So I started, thanks to my mom, I started a hobby. And I did every game with my dad as my analyst. off the television set. And his buddies would come over and the Boston Bruins would be on and I'd call the game. So, and I prepared and it helped me in school. You know, I didn't go to school for this either, that's the other thing, but I just decided, you know what, if I got an opportunity, I was going to go for it, and thankfully I did.
That's Kraken hockey, baby.
The Kraken's namesake was inspired by the Pacific Northwest's connection to water. Next on kraken-home-ice, we're learning more about sea creatures of the Salish Sea.
And there's something about this place that makes things grow really large. So we have the world's largest burrowing clam, world's largest octopus.
Plus, the focus in this week's shootout is how the players listen to music. They pick their preferred headphones.
This is the OG of Salish sea monsters, the giant Pacific octopus. Man, if I had 8 arms, the puck would never get past me.
The Salish Sea is full of all kinds of creatures, and the Sea Doc Society works on ensuring the health of all marine life through science and education. One way they do that is through a series they call Salish Sea Wild. Their latest episode features all things monsters of the deep and includes someone who knows a lot about defending the deep.
There's something about our waters that makes these creatures grow to gigantic size.
The Salish Sea is full of incredible creatures. A few of those creatures were at the center of Dr. Joe Gatos' latest project. With the Sea Doc Society, Dr. Joe helps educate about the marvels of the sea.
We want to appeal to kids that are 10 years old and their grandparents that are 100 years old.
His latest episode focused on the monsters of the deep.
You know, I study animals, I like to spend time with them, and part of my job is saving them. And so, you know, what we were thinking is like, well, we save animals. Who saves goals for the Kraken? Let's get Joey DeCour out there.
Joey assisted counting down the top 5 sea monsters.
What has huge teeth and weighs 1,000 more pounds than a grizzly bear? The stellar sea lion. This is the fish you definitely don't want to run into on a full moon. The wolf eel. Oh!
Joey brought the introductions, and Dr. Joe brought all kinds of fun facts about these ferocious beasts.
The wolf eel, this is an animal that has powerful jaws. It can eat spiny urchins just like it's eating popcorn, sort of. Stellar sea lion, the world's largest sea lion. It's 1,000 pounds bigger than a grizzly bear. And this episode, we just went full on monsters, you know, and talked about everything like that it could, you know, rip everything to shreds. But the reality is none of these are really monsters. They're things we love to scuba dive with.
And of course, there was only one answer when it came to the monster who reigns supreme.
The Seattle Kraken. Fear the deep, baby.
You know, when they think about the Kraken, it's a mythical, scary creature. The reason that name was chosen is because we live at the face of this beautiful Salish Sea, this ocean that's right here, that does have all of these incredible things. And so that unification of like the professional sports team and what our natural history is and our legacy is here in the Seattle area. We want people to own this ocean because it's ours.
When the Kraken show up to an arena, they are locked in and ready to go, and oftentimes listening to music. In this week's shootout, we asked the players about their preference when it comes to listening to music. AirPods, wired, or over-the-ear headphones?
AirPods. I'm just AirPods. Yeah. Wired. AirPods.
AirPods. AirPod Maxes, so over the ear.
Wireless headphones.
AirPods. Was that one of the options? Yeah.
Fellowship fostered through food. Up ahead on kraken-home-ice, a one-of-a-kind pre-game dining experience.
We get inspired by everything around us, what the community is doing, what our families are doing, what sports are doing.
Mariners legend and Baseball Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. was in the house for the Kraken's big win over Vegas. He got a very warm welcome at Climate Pledge Arena. We talk a lot of hockey on this show, but every once in a while we like to talk about some things off the ice. And Brianna's here with the taste of something special.
For the first time, the Kraken hosted a select group of fans to a pregame meal. The whole menu was put together by Chef Molly, and the focus was local.
Let's just have a good time. Salute, yes? All right.
Community shared over a meal. Tucked into the depths of Climate Pledge Arena is a premium club, the arena's very own speakeasy. The Verizon Lounge is home to well-crafted music, drinks,
little smoked on it,
and food. often the go-to spot for concerts, Kraken fans were at the center of this feast.
We're gonna start with a really light salad, very simple, champagne vinaigrette. We were just throwing around this idea of this epic dinner we could do right here pre-game.
From the brains of Chef Molly Demers to the plates and palettes, every course was intentionally thought out.
We conceived something that's for the season, right? We looked at geographically where we are.
Chef Molly guided the way with notes on the meal and tales of inspiration.
There's a lot of apples on this menu. The abundance of apples are super underutilized. We get inspired by everything around us, what the community's doing, what our families are doing, what sports are doing.
It was a taste of homegrown in Washington.
For us, we work with like the Food Hub, which is a great co-op organization that allows us to work directly with the farms. And then Austin over at Royal Ranch in Royal City, he supplies us all our beef for the entire building. We knew a beef tenderloin sous vide was gonna be on the menu. We brought it together with a nice bone marrow foam that really rounds out the whole dish. The U10 scallops are beautiful right now, so we are gonna pan sear those with a little bit of yuzu.
This pregame meal was just the start of Chef Molly's ever-evolving creativity.
My favorite thing about creating a menu for these experiences are the people. And there was nothing like this available. To be able to come into your favorite arena, to watch your favorite hockey team, and have a 5-course meal, I don't know anyone else that's doing that. So this is something really special.
There's more hockey happening at Climate Pledge Arena. On Monday, the Kraken had their last home game of the season against the Kings. Then on Saturday, the Torrent faced the Vancouver Golden Eyes. And that'll do it for this week's episode of Kraken Home Ice. Thanks for looking in. We'll see you next week.